Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yesha if you're new here, board certified radiologist. If you are new, welcome. I wanted to make a quick video about how to network at conferences because it is RSNA week and I thought maybe this would help somebody. So if this helps you in any way, I just wanted to get this out there. So let me pull up my notes and we'll get right into it. It's going to be a really quick video. I'm hoping less than 10 minutes. As with any conference, you need to look at the program ahead of time. There are some conferences that are really big. RSNA is huge. RSNA is the annual radiology conference. It's huge. There are going to be like 50 concurrent sessions, if not more. And you're going to have to figure out where you want to go, when you want to go. And honestly, getting from one room to another room might take you 15 minutes. So you really need to plan out your day, plan out the sessions that you really want to go to, prioritize them because you never know when you're going to run into somebody, when a conversation is going to end up taking 20 extra minutes and now you're going to be late to another session. So make sure you prioritize which sessions you want to go to every single day. The program will also usually have categories, so if you're not sure what you want to go to, there might be things that are labeled as for residents and fellows, there might be things labeled as for a certain subspecialty. There might be things labeled as like early career, which are probably the things that I'm going to be hitting up. So just make sure you take a glance and prioritize like 2 or 3 sessions every single day, depending on how early you want to get there or late you want to be at the conference. You might want to factor all of that in. You can search the program by name. If there's someone specific you want to meet, you can search programs by topic. You can filter, there's hundreds of ways you can filter the RSNA program, but just make sure you do review it ahead of time because there is so much content all the time. And unless you prioritize, you're not going to know where the heck you're supposed to be. You're not going to know how to get somewhere. And there are people there that will help you. But again, like I said, it could take 10 to 15 minutes just to get somewhere. And you never know if it's a 4-person panel, you might miss some of the talking points of the first person. So just make sure you prioritize and look at the programming ahead of time because that's going to be very important. Along with that comes some pre-preparation. So if there's someone specific you want to meet, whether that's a program director, whether that's a job that you potentially want to have, whether it's just someone that inspires you and you just want to tell them that, hey, I really look up to you, you need to look up some things about that person, maybe look up the topics that they're going to talk about, just sort of have done a little bit of homework so that when you go up to them, you have something to say. And you can even just introduce yourself and talk about yourself and what interests you about them, but you do have to sort of think about that. At least for me, when I was first getting into the whole networking thing and learning how to talk to people, it helped to have a few talking points ready. Even if they were just about me or where I am, it's helpful to have at least thought about it in advance. So just think about what you want to say, whether it's just some general information about your own background, if there's a goal that you're trying to meet and this person can somehow help you, if you're just genuinely interested in their topic. Just have something to talk about when you go and meet them. And then the second thing with that is not just thinking about what you want to say ahead of time, but also maybe be early for a session. Sometimes you can catch people at the beginning of a session. After a session, you're going to see a lot of people go up to the speakers, especially in the very popular topics, and it's harder to get a word in, especially if that person, because a lot of these speakers also have more events or more talks to go to, and they might not be able to stick around for that long. So just trying to find time, whether it's before a session or after a session, to talk to somebody, it can be a little bit challenging. So make sure that you just sort of plan that out, think about what you want to say, and have a plan for whatever goal that you're trying to reach. The next tip is just show up. You have to show up, right? So a lot of people go to these conferences just for a social act or just to sort of do the bare minimum, but that's really not how you're going to get the most out of the actual conference. The best thing to do is actually go to the sessions, whether that's educational sessions, whether it's about your career, contract negotiation, whatever the sessions are, show up. This also goes for the networking events. There are always networking events after the day is over, sometimes 4 p.m., 5 p.m. there will be some sort of meet and greet, or there will be some sort of social hour. And honestly, sometimes those also take place in the evening. If you see a pharmaceutical company or there's some, device company that's putting on drinks or something at a bar later in the evening, 8 o'clock, go to those things, because that's really where you're going to meet a lot of people, and people are more casual, people are relaxed, people are having a good time. They're just there to, talk. No one has an agenda, no one has a talk coming up right then, so it might be a good time to actually meet people, and that's how you're really going to make friends. And honestly, I will say that these events and all of these little things are the way that I have built such a community within radiology, and how I've made so many friends within it's just, yeah, you meet somebody and then you're like, what are you doing tonight? Do you want to go to this random bowling alley tonight where this company is hosting us? Yes, go to all of those things, because if you don't go, you're never going to meet anyone. I heard a really good piece of advice, which was to show up to these things at the beginning. I know that sounds a little bit daunting, especially when I don't know, for me anyways, when I'm going out or something, I don't want to be the first person there. I don't want to be early. I don't want to be awkwardly the only person there. But it is true that that's the time you're going to actually be able to make an organic conversation with somebody that's not forced, right? Because there's only going to be a handful of people that are already at the event. And so if your goal is to meet people, that's a good idea. The people that are organizing the event will be there. Often that includes some radiologists. So yes, go to the event early, meet people, talk to people, and you never know who you're gonna randomly hit it off with. So, but it all happens only if you show up. So definitely, you have to go. The next step takes it one step further, and that is engaging with everybody on social media. So we used to have a big Twitter presence, radiology, which is now X. But now it seems like everyone is moving over to Blue Sky, and I recently just opened my Blue Sky, started it, and I'm excited because I think that the Radiology Blue Sky network is going to just explode, and it's really fun. I feel like when these social media platforms are just starting out, because that's really when you can build these organic relationships with people, especially online. You can start messaging them, you can start just tweeting, or I don't know, what is it called? What's the equivalent of tweeting? Messaging? Writing for Blue Sky. But yeah, I think it's just going to be huge. And you'll see, if you're not sure what to post, or if you don't want to post, that's okay. You can just reply to other people's posts on Blue Sky. If you saw a particularly insightful slide and you want to put a picture of it online, people like to share those types of things. Just reaching out randomly just to say hi, this was a great talk, and I thank you for sharing your insight with us. People genuinely appreciate those types of comments, and honestly, they don't come by very often. So if you do send a nice message like that, I'm sure it'd be very appreciated to the speakers who have spent so much time and effort making their slides and perfecting their craft, and just so many hours that go into every single one of these things. So definitely engage on social media. And then social media is also where you're going to find out where people are going after the conference. So whether it's some sort of RSNA sponsored event, whether it's some sort of device company, or I don't know, someone else who's sponsoring part of RSNA, or they have a booth, whoever it is, if it's a random company, they will often either post it there or it'll get shared online. So you should definitely check social media for not just the sessions and for finding mentors and for finding the speakers and talking to them, but also for social events. And then finally, have a thoughtful follow-up email. If there was, again, somebody that you wanted to meet, but maybe you were too shy, or maybe you just didn't have time, again, you had to go walk 20 minutes to the next session, or the person had to leave, sending a nice email afterwards. Almost everybody will have their email address or some form of contact information on their last slide or somewhere available for you, and so you should send that email. You never know where it'll lead, whether you get a project out of it, whether you just meet somebody, whether you get a job offer out of it, which is sort of in the phase of my career now, where I'm oh, you might meet somebody and you find out they're in the same region as you, and now you might, you start hearing rumblings of people leaving jobs and going into new jobs, and it's always good to know people in your area. So you just never know where these connections will lead you, whether it's an opportunity to volunteer, whether it's, a committee, or, there's hundreds of possibilities depending on what your interests are. But honestly, just building these genuine connections can really help you in your career in so many different ways. And honestly, even just having a friend, just having a friend helps you more than you know, because you can compare your life. You can complain about things that are going on. You can say like, hey, what does your program do? Or how do you handle this? Or whatever it is. Like, there are just so many ways that having colleagues and good connections can really just help you and make you a better radiologist and improve your workflow and help you find a better job or whatever it is. So following up with email, obviously exchanging phone numbers with people that are open to that, all of that will help. But yeah, those are my like main tips: showing up, preparing in advance, making a plan, being on the social media stuff, going to the social things, and what else was the last one? Following up with email, because all of that will sort of create this good experience for you. It's a very exhausting few days if it's done correctly. I don't want to say if it's done correctly, if it's done the way that I have done it in the past. Now this year we'll see what happens. But yes, anyways, if you are at RSNA, I would love to see you. Please come say hi, and yeah, I will catch you all in my next video. Bye.